my opinion, is there are two types of DJs: DJs that play for a crowd and DJs that take you on a journey. They take you somewhere. So it's impossible if you're a DJ that understands not just music, but understands what it means to play to people, to bring people to a crescendo, to have a journey. If you're taking people on a journey and you're also taking requests, how can you ever get to where you want to go?
Richard, I'm really happy to share this moment with you. You are our first guest. So first of all,
Honored. Thank you.
we are honored to have you. In, we've met like kind of I think 12 years ago, and I always was impressed by first how you curate, how you work deeply with the brands you're working for. But first, can you please like kind of introduce yourself for the people who doesn't know you here?
Absolutely. So my name is Richard Filippi. I've been in nightlife for quite some time now, since the age of 16. I don't want to age myself too much, but it's been about 34 years in the industry, 2 years in New York, 32 years here in Miami.
Wow.
So I actually started in nightlife when nightlife in Miami was just Washington Avenue. Washington Avenue between 5th and Espanola, which the end of that would be Crowbar. Was that Crowbar? No, it was actually
Rockwell.
no, no,
That
no,
that was after.
no, no, no. Uh, Cameo,
Oh, Cameo.
Cameo
Yeah.
Theater. From Cameo Theater to Fifth Street. If that's not where you were, then you were probably really weren't that relevant. So that was really the heart of nightlife for a long, long time.
Opium Group was to run that, right?
Opium was also there. Opium was they had Mansion at the time.
Oh yeah.
But I was actually at Mansion prior to Mansion. It was a couple of clubs. Prince used to own it. I was there when Prince owned it. It was Glam Slam. So I have quite a bit of history in that building, even prior to Mansion being there. So yeah, I'm pretty much a dinosaur on the beach. I've been around for quite some time, and I've pretty much done everything, to be
I'll
honest
say
with you.
legend. I'll
You know
say
what?
legend.
I'll actually take that, only because at my age, I'll take a compliment like that for sure. It's got to amount to something. So I started on the beach actually doing security. I did promotions. I've been a nightlife director. I've been a manager. I've been a floor manager. I've just pretty much done every different position that I could imagine in nightlife. Honestly, my favorite position has always been the door, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, working doors has always been my guilty pleasure. I've always enjoyed that.
Why you enjoy saying no?
No, it's not. It's not even saying no, but it's funny because the reason why I fell in love with this industry was because of working doors. I started when I was 16. I was going to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I was supposed to be an attorney. Far cry.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started working nightlife in order to pay for school and to support myself and my family. And it's a funny story, but I was working at a gym called Lucille Roberts, and I used to walk home or walk to the bus every night after work, and I used to pass a little club called Lemon Tree in Forest Hills. And one night there was a gentleman outside, and he said to me, "Hey kid, where are you going every night?" And I said, "Well, I'm coming from work." He says, "Where do you work?" I said, "I work at Lucille Roberts." He's like, "Lucille Roberts is an all-female gym." So he goes, "What do you do over there?" I go, "I clean the weights and I move stuff around and I help them with stuff they need." So he says to me, "Do you want a man's job?" So it's like, I was a young kid. I'm like, "A man's job?" He's like, "Yeah, do you want a man's job? You're a good looking kid. You're tall. You could do something better." So I said, "Okay." He goes, "You know what? Come back. Do you have a suit?" I said, "Yeah, I have a suit." He goes, "Okay, come back to me tomorrow.
Men's
Be
suit.
here." Yeah, a man's suit, right? He goes, "Come back to me tomorrow at 9 o'clock." So I said, "Okay." I went home. I told my mother, "Mom, I got a job." She goes, "What do you got?" I said, "Listen, I got a job. The guy told me he's going to pay me $100 a night." Back then, $100 a night, I think I was making 100 a week.
What?
So I showed up. I think the only suit I had was the suit I had for my first communion. It was halfway down my arm. It was almost up to my knees. So I showed up. I knocked on the door the next night. They opened the door. They called John. His name was John. And he looks at me, he starts laughing. He's like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "You told me to wear a suit." He's like, "That's your suit?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my suit." That's what. So he starts laughing. He says, "Come back tomorrow at 4." So I go home. I cried. I told my mom I quit my job. This guy told me to come back tomorrow. Ended up coming back the next day. He brought me to a tailor. They got me fitted in a suit. Told me come back the next week, wear the suit. Brought me to the door, literally verbatim. He said, "I need you to stand here. Don't let in any woman that you don't find attractive or any guys that you wouldn't hang out with." And I started working a door.
That's amazing.
He just stood me there. And then to me, honestly, what I fell in love with was, some people don't understand this. It's a little deep, but there's an artistic form of working doors. People that do it now, I'm old school. So for me, what became attracted was being part of creating something amazing. At the end of the night, when people are walking out and they had an amazing time and they're drunk and they're happy and they're enjoyed themselves, you literally, it's like a work of art. You take a room, it's empty, there's no one in it, there's no energy, there's nothing, and you provide that. And you learn that it's more than just good-looking people, it's an energy. You know, you want to stand at the door and then you keep going inside and you look around. It's not just, hey, we need more men, we need more women in here. Sometimes it's we need more energy. You go back to the door and you're like, who's going to bring us energy? Who's going to bring us something that makes this more than just a gathering of people? You want to turn it into an event.
100%. And I feel also like the door is one of the most important position, probably the most important position. First, you're the first contact of the brand. You represent the brand. You are the one who have to understand the brand deeply because you are selecting the people who's going to come in. And you're the last point of contact of the people who's go out. So you have the direct feedback of what happened during the night. And so you're in first line. And that's probably why you understand so deeply now and you're so efficient with the brand you're working with. Let's move forward and let's talk about Saxony and Faena. When I've met you, we used to do the door at Rockwell back in the days.
Yes.
And was at this time was one of the most beautiful clientele in Miami, I'd say. Then you switch to a total different format, which was Faena.
Yes.
And you was able to bring those amazing clientele to a total different format. So how have you done that?
Well, I think one of the things that's very important that a lot of people miss sometimes, these new door hosts or people that are working the doors, whatever you want to call them. The first thing that I always do when I go to a venue is I sit with the owner. It's not the manager. It's not the director. I want to sit with the owner because every owner of every venue has a vision. And that vision, especially with a place like Faena, where I am now, Alan Faena had a vision that started prior to them pouring cement or even starting to draw the plans out. And that vision starts from the brick and mortar. And in my mind, if the vision is complete, it extends to the crowd that you want to see in the room that you've created. How do you want to decorate this room? To me, people are decorations to a venue. You have a venue, you have a space. You go back to New York where you have the Paradise Garage. It was cement with speakers, but they found a crowd to decorate that room with to make history. Studio 54 was the same thing. You have a space. The space is nothing. Until you find the right people to decorate that space and to create the energy that you want in that room, that's the only time that something monumental is made, something that creates history, is when people are able to marry the space with the proper crowd. So with that understanding, when I walk into a room and I know what the owner's looking for and I know what the owner wants, it's almost like in a way I might be thinking in a way that's a bit grandiose, but if you think in the form of an artist, what can I bring to this room to elevate the vision and to bring it to life?
I love that. Let's jump on this. You know, the one of the biggest mistakes I've seen in the industry is when operators, no owners, operators don't give importance to the brand. Owners are coming with a vision, as you said, with a strong brand. And I love the fact that you protect that and you protect the vision, you protect the brand. And I say that with the music, it's the same. A lot of location around are just saying, "Oh, client is king," and they start playing for everybody, and pleasing everybody is pleasing anyone basically. They don't pursue the brand. So, what is your relationship with the music at Saxony, at Faena? What is the plus value? What you trying to add over there?
I think one of the things about Faena is the minute you walk into the building, it's a throwback.
100%.
It's not something that you walk into and it's a modern building with a modern look and a modern feel. It's completely the opposite. You get a nostalgic feeling when you walk into that room. And I have to say this, it's along the same lines, but my favorite period of time in this industry for the whole history that I've been doing this was during COVID. A lot of people don't understand. Faena was open during COVID. We were in the living room. Our nightlife went from doing 300-400 people in that room to 50 people. But what started to happen when there were 50 people in the room, it gave people like me an opportunity to sit, to have conversations, to talk, to touch people, to really do what we're here to do, which is hospitality. And hospitality, what are you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be relating to people, to make people feel important, to make them feel welcome. Especially in our time when people are working from home, they don't have contact with people at work anymore. People during COVID became starved for human interaction. And the whole vibe changed. Some of the magical nights we had in the living room during COVID, to me, were some of the most intimate, amazing moments. And it really made me appreciate what I do. There were times, normally, let's say you have VIPs that come in and they show off, they spend $20,000, $30,000 on bottles. COVID almost made it embarrassing to be that kind of an asshole. So people that would normally do that, what they ended up doing instead, we had VIPs that walk in that would buy the whole room out. They would come in. It happened. I've never seen it before. During COVID, these big spenders would come in. Instead of spending ridiculous amounts of money on themselves, they would pay for everyone's table.
Wow.
And it just showed you the shift of the way people were thinking. It was more to give, to be open to, and people would walk from one table to the other and sit with other people and have conversations. And it really made me realize at the end of the day that what hospitality is, it's an opportunity for people to go out and meet other people. And I think what I wanted to do with Saxony was to go in the opposite direction of what everyone else is doing right now. I wanted throwbacks. I want classic music. The volume I didn't want too high. I wanted people to have an opportunity to talk, to enjoy each other's company, to dance. There's no more dance parties. Right now at Saxony, people are walking out there sweating from dancing. Some people leave, they're like, oh, I don't like the music. And I'm like, you know what? Then it's not for you. But I wanted to create a community where people know there's a small place, it's quaint, it's comfortable, and I think intimate is the way to go for a lot of people now. That's what they want. People want intimacy.
That's fantastic. Last time I've been there, the music was, I remember he played, the DJ was great. He played some remixes of 70s, 80s,
Yes.
some Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, like basically real music. People was enjoying, chilling, able to talk. So the music wasn't intrusive. And I say that when the place is well curated, the music should be a guest who never invite itself to the conversation.
Agreed.
And when it's like a hug, and basically that drives to if we talk about business, the good music at the right volume drives a lot of sales, man. We have this talk. If we don't have the music who bothered us, then we keep ordering, and that's how well curated place drives a lot more revenues than.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that because my push, especially with Saxony and every place that I've been in, I have a serious problem with people, with places and venues that are revenue driven. If all you're going to talk about is the revenue and how can we make more money here, more money there, you've missed the mark. To me, I don't have any discussions as far as revenue is concerned. To me, you create an atmosphere that people love to come to and the revenue will come. To be honest with you, for a lot of locations, revenue has destroyed a lot of venues their drive for revenue, because you stand, especially it starts at the door. So many venues have stood at the door, and it's like they stopped thinking about back in the 90s. We used to have, there were famous homeless people in the 90s that would come to the clubs. Everybody knew them. They had an amazing energy. People loved them. It was not revenue driven. Now, whoever has a platinum card is the one that's going to get in and grab the table. But the problem is, when you fill the room with people that are just there because they've spent enough money, you lose the energy, you lose the soul.
100%.
Now, if you fill them up with people that are buying bottles, and I call people that are not on tables fillers, if you put the right fillers in there, then you have the opportunity to make something happen, because the people that are spending money at the table, they never really bring the energy. I'm sorry. They're just there to watch the show. It's your fillers, the people that bring the energy, that dance, that have a warm feeling about them, that are really enjoying the fact that they're out and enjoying their lives and having fun. Those are the people that bring the energy to nightlife. The tables, to me, those are the people that are just bringing in money. They're not in there for any other reason besides the revenue, and that's all that they bring to the party. And unfortunately, now you need them.
100%. So, like, what I see, like, kind of not every day, but what I've seen a lot is like the short-term strategies. You know, people say, okay, this guy wants this, so we have to provide it. But have you think about the brand? Have you think about the long haul? And what I love with Faena and with Living Room in Saxony is, like, as you said, like, say, thinking about the long haul. This is how you build a beautiful brand who stay in the legend. Studio 54, like all those kind of Paradise, like all those brands had this long haul strategy. And I really love the fact that there is still people like you who thinking this way. Because more and more, especially now with, let's say, with the inflation and stuff like that, all those economic aspects brings people to think about short-term strategy, where we should do the opposite, basically. I would love to talk about some kind of piece of music that touch you through your history, through your path. Is there one track you want to talk about?
You know what? It's not even, for me, it's not one track. And my relationship to music is actually a strange one, because I think I've spent my whole life working surrounded by music. In my times of privacy and my personal time, I don't play a lot of music. For me, the music and I don't want to sound like an old man, but the music that people play and produce these days is just not for me. For me, I'm a Marvin Gaye, Sade. You know, these are the people, yes, these are Melody Gardot. These are the people that I love to listen to. And that's not something that you want to hear at like 1 a.m. You want to be partying and dancing. But listen, I love rock music. I love old school hip hop, soul, funk. Those are the things that move me. Original beats, the beats that people are sampling now to create new music and have been forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm an old soul when it comes to that. You know, and I'm open to anything that makes people want to dance. You know, I think that time of going out and dancing and truly going out was a physical thing. When I was younger, you'd go out and you're sweating all night and you're dancing. And now people are out and they're on their phones, and, you know, everyone's posturing. It's a totally different, I honestly can't relate to it. And anything that I get involved in now, I try to go against that grain. I'm not in for anything that's cool anymore, honestly.
But I say, like, old school is a new cool. Like,
I hope so.
I hope
because
so too.
I'm old school as hell. So if that's true, I'm crossing my fingers, because I'm definitely old school. And yeah, I just think, again, like I said, people are pining for a little bit of the past, a little bit of what hospitality used to be honest with you. Because for a long time, hospitality has changed now. It's not the same thing. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. It's not that human interaction, that personal touch. It's not what it used to be anymore. So it's definitely changed quite a bit. And I would like to think that I'm part of that old school army that tries to push back and bring things that older feeling for nightlife.
what you're saying it's really interesting because I will jump on the fact that the like I'm part of it, kind of the new generation or the way how they consume things. Have you seen like back on the days, on the 80s, 70s, music on the radio, 8 minutes format, 9 minutes format.
Yeah.
Now, 2 minute 30 seconds. Even on the videos on internet, like short reels.
Yeah.
This is why also I want to take the time by creating this podcast to talk about things and trying to fight back against this fast consumption. Um, and when we just talk about is old school is a new cool, is like I really feel it. Like even on the sampling on music producers start to sample as they always did, but now it's pretty more obvious. Really hear the original track. Um, I love the fact that you pursuing that. Even Faena, one more time, the music is over there is fantastic. Um, I would love to go on different path, and because you probably face kind of wrong idea or like deeply that people from the industry deeply think it's true, and you say no, it's not true, it's wrong, like fake ideas basically. Have you been confronted to that, and you would like to
Um, I, I'm not so sure, so clear about what you mean by fake ideas, but I will say this: that there's
a general rule that uh, become not true at all? For example, client is king. If people like client is king, like yes, treat him like as a king, but doesn't seem he have all the rights. Now client is king. People say, oh, this guy have all the rights. He choose the music. He can change the menu. Like it's crazy.
no. And the reason why I don't believe that is because honestly, if you think about it, those of us that are in the industry, we're the ones that are kings because we're the ones that understand the industry and what people really like. A lot of times, what I think people fail to realize is you need to educate people on what is good because people don't always know what's good. You know, they spend a lot of these people, especially the VIPs, some of these people that rule the world that'll come in and spend the kind of money that they spend. The reason why they have that kind of money is because they spent most of their lives working. So you need to show those people, when those people come in, you need to show them what it means to have a good time. What they can't dictate that to you because also everybody has an opinion on what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. So I think to me the important thing is to pick a lane. Those of us that are in the industry, be creative based on the knowledge that we have of nightlife. The hundreds of thousands of nights I've stood there and watched a room go crazy and see people enjoy themselves, I need to apply that knowledge in order to bring people and say, this is what it's like to have a good time. And so that whole thing about the client is king, I don't believe that at all, honestly.
Me neither. You know what I love to say to my DJs, like never play what people want,
Yes.
play what people need. And there is big gap and a big difference between the both because sometimes the client don't even expect that this track gonna turn him crazy. I would 1,000 times prefer that one of my DJ playing Aretha Franklin than a new, Taylor Swift kind of song. Because at the end, you surprise the guest. You make him go through an experience that he didn't even expect, and that's this. I think the
Yeah, 100%. The DJs that I bring on board to Saxony, one of the things that, in my opinion, is there are two types of DJs. DJs that play for a crowd and DJs that take you on a journey. They take you somewhere. So it's impossible if you're a DJ that understands not just music, but understands what it means to play to people, to bring people to a crescendo, to have a journey. If you're taking people on a journey and you're also taking requests, how can you ever get to where you want to go? It's impossible. It becomes flipping back and forth just to make individual people happy at that moment. If you are able as a DJ to understand that your job is to take people on a journey and you have to learn how to capture their attention and actually bring them on board and start moving them along with you, this to me is a real DJ. This is where the talent comes in. Not someone who stands there and takes requests and, okay, let's just make them dance right now. No, every night has to have a direction. You're in the middle of the night. You can't just be taking people's requests here and there. You have to be on your way to something. Where are you going? It has to be. You have to bring people with you, and that's. I've never been a DJ, but I've sat and listened to DJs.
No,
forever.
you love music.
And I love music, and I think music is the heart and soul of nightlife. It's what carries the whole night. It really is.
Richard, we would like to say something because now we're gonna go on internet. We like to say like a message. You're free to say whatever you want to say, like a bottle in the water, a bottle in the sea. Let's say that.
You know what? I recently, not too long ago, I took a trip and I went to Japan. Okay. So many people have been talking to me about the hospitality in Japan and what it's like. And it was my dream to go there and find out. And I just dropped everything. I went there for 3 weeks. And I was expecting to find something revolutionary. And that's not what I found at all. It's actually, it was moving what happened to me there. So I went there to study their hospitality and their nightlife to see exactly what it is about Japanese hospitality that's just so special that people always talk about it when they come back. And my idea was to bring back a concept, or to try to bring back with me something that would inspire the people that work under me to work that way, to be that way. And one of the things that I realized is I would go out and I went to over 30, 40 bars, some of the best bars and lounges in the world. And my first couple of nights, I realized that I was tipping people and they would get upset. Literally, one woman chased me out of the bar and gave me back the tip that I gave her.
No way. It's not part of the culture, right?
This is the thing. So now I'm more and more impressed about the way they do things. And what I'm looking at is how it doesn't matter if it's a busboy, a barback, whoever it is, the attention to detail to what they're doing was so amazing. I don't care if they were sweeping the streets. They were sweeping the streets in a way that was poetic, where it looked like it was literally an art. And I was like, how can I get people that work for me back in the States to have this kind of mindset when they're working? And it was interesting because I went into one particular bar, and the owner, his name was Hito, it was one of the best bars in the world. And I said to him, what is it about tipping that everybody gets so offended? And what he said to me, and I didn't think this was possible for someone of my age, as long as I've been in the industry, changed my view of this industry and what we do to the core. What he said to me was, he said, Richard, in Japan, regardless of what you do for a living, whether you're a busboy, barback, you clean toilets, doesn't matter what it is, you do a good job because you represent your name. It is an honor for you to do your job because you're representing who you are.
Wow.
In the work that you do. To give someone money to do a better job suggests that you believe more. I would do more for money than I would do for my honor.
Wow,
To think of something like that and to actually try to bring that philosophy here, they would look at you like you're crazy.
100%.
But it really made me understand that there's a beauty in simplifying things. And I think here we've lost sight of a lot of that. So I don't know if it's turned me into a dinosaur where, I'm no longer relevant to a certain degree, but I feel like instead of us moving in the direction of constantly revolutionizing what we do, I think the beauty of hospitality is not in revolutionizing, it's in embracing the past, things that are a little more traditional. And that's the beauty of what they have. If we could bring some of that over here, a true appreciation, because here we just work for the dollar. You get more tips, you get better service. Over there, I watched someone polish a glass, and it was beautiful. The way that they polished the glass, the way they were interested in their posture, the way they moved, that there's an elegance, and you realize it's a cultural thing. They do that because it's deeper than money. And I think for us, we concentrate so much, like we said before, on revenue that we forget the basics, the beauty of what we're doing, and the responsibility that we have when people come to our venues. We're there to create a feeling, to give people an escape from things. And I think we get caught up so much in the revenue that we forget the basics. And if anything, if I could say anything to people out there in hospitality, that would be it. That we need to kind of slow down and just remember what we're doing there. It's not to make a quick dollar. It really, we have a responsibility to do what we're doing in a poetic fashion that understands what we're giving to other people when we're doing it.
Do what you love and do it with love.
Yes, and the rest will come. The revenue will follow. The revenue, the reputation, all of that will follow if you only concentrate more on the art of what you're doing.
Wow. Richard, thank you very much. This was really inspiring.
Thank you very much.
And this is why you're a legend.
Thank you for having me, my brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.